Welcome to PowerPoint 2010 Power Tools. I'm TrainerLori. What are Power Tools? Well, first we're going to show you quick tips to help you save time and add pizzazz to your decks, but also I'm going to show you especially how to record your presentations. This is one of those things that a lot of people don't know about, and I absolutely live with it, but only if you're using text. For example, I want to show something, and then when I show the next one, I want the first one to dim. See, I've actually had people tell me they do this individually. They go in there and set it up. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is tell it to right on the animation pane. So it's an effect option, and one of your options is to dim after animation. So you can choose for it to go to a color or do some other things. By default, it doesn't dim. So you can choose what it will look like after you've hit that one and it goes on to the next one. This is one of my favorite tools that we probably don't think about for PowerPoint, but we certainly would use it in Word all the time, and that's autocorrect. And there's already a whole bunch of great things in autocorrect, but you can add your own. For example, if you hit the brackets around the C, the parentheses around the C, it turns it into copyright. Well, that's in there by default, but you can create your own. For example, you can replace your initials with your name. So you can create your own simply by putting in replace this with this, and it'll make you a much faster typist. Phantom formatting, that's one of the things that I find when you're assembling decks from various locations, and sometimes where did this formatting come from? Well, another deck might have had a slide master that's different, a template, and so you might have multiple templates, and when you don't really want multiple templates. So you go to View, Slide Master, and then look for a second template, and then simply delete it. So if you expected your deck to look like this, and it doesn't, then you probably have this phantom template in there. Just delete it. Comments are a great way to talk between multiple authors on a PowerPoint presentation deck. And so you just go to Review, New Comment, and when you type it in, and it leaves this little handle, just a little handle will show until you either hover over it or click on it. You can right-click on it to edit it or add a new one or delete it, but now you can create those notes between users. This is a biggie, especially in 2010. If I want to insert a screen clip from another program or an error message, something like that, I just go to Insert Screenshot, and I can either choose the entire window by choosing one of the windows that are open, or you can go to Screen Clipping, and then you can just take the portion that you want. It creates this mask. You just click and drag over what you do want, and it instantly puts it into PowerPoint. This is one of the best new things that they added in 2010, in my opinion. This is the next best thing. How frustrating if you know you have a star under there and I want to add some animation to it, but I can't see it. So that means that I have to move this layer and this layer before I can see it. And hopefully I'll be able to put them back the way I want them. But sometimes it's very touchy. It took a lot of work to place them exactly where you want them, and you don't want to have to move them. So the new selection pane, you'll find this under the Format tab. The new selection pane adds this pane over here, and you can choose which tools you want to see and which ones you don't want to see. For example, if I only want to see the star, then I could view or deselect by simply clicking the eyeball of all the things that are on top of it, and then I can see it. So if I'm having something build, I don't have to go in there and move stuff. This is great. In here, for example, I want to make it smaller than what I could see. For example, when I took this box and made it as small as I possibly could, it wasn't small enough. I wanted it even smaller. So in here, you can actually scale it. So I can say I want 50% of the smallest one, and it will make it even smaller. Well, how would you want something that small? Well, I use it to hide things. For example, I might have a dot in text that is an image that I don't want that dot, so I would make the square the same color as my background, and it would help hide little things like that. If you want to snap things, for example, I want a logo or a picture in the same spot on every slide. It may not be on every slide, but when I do put it on every slide, I want it to be in the same spot. Then I could use Gridlines or guides. This is guides. I've turned on a guide here, and you can move this, the guide, to wherever you want it. But now, when I position a picture in there, it will always be in the same spot. And these are grid lines. The nice thing about grid lines is you can right-click on them and resize them. So if you don't want the 1-inch default, you can make them smaller or larger. Now video. One of the biggest things that people ask me about, how can I insert video? You might want to trim the video. Maybe it's too long. I don't want the horses, I simply want the birds portion of this video. Well, under the video tools, we have the option to trim the video. What a great tool. Now you can only trim off the front or the back. You cannot trim out of the middle. But otherwise, this is a wonderful tool. It's a great quick editing tool to get just the portion of video you want. You can also insert video from YouTube or Hulu or another video sharing site. Make sure that you choose other options like embed. And so you want to look at the embed copy code. So you copy the code. And then when you go to insert video from website, you paste the code, and then it'll be embedded in there. Then when you go to playback, you have other options besides the trim tool that we saw. We can choose to fade in or fade out, to change the volume, when it's going to start on a click or in an animation sequence. So many tools, we don't have time to go into all of them here. You can also insert video as clip art. This is also called a GIF file, and you can search for what Microsoft considers to be videos, which are really animated GIFs. One of those things that it drives me crazy, that it never stops in my presentation. So sometimes I make a screen capture of the GIF and have it animate after a few seconds to cover that animation so it stops moving. You can also insert audio. If you have a file, for example, a music, MP3, something like that, you can have it play, and it will show as a horn here. Now you have some options to play it on animation. You also have some options to not show the horn while it's if it's not playing, and when to play the music. For example, if you want to start music and have it play over all of the slides, then you choose which slides to play it over, etc. You can also trim the audio so that you can edit, again, only the beginning or the end, but not pull out the middle. And you can choose to hide it. You can also record an entire slideshow, like I'm doing with this one. And under Record Slideshow, you can start the recording from the beginning, and you can choose if you want to show the slide and animation timings, but also narrations and laser pointings. Now remember, narration is what I'm speaking, how I'm talking into a microphone. But laser pointers, as you can see that red circle, that is a laser. You can also take all of your animation, everything that you've saved into your PowerPoint, and then create a video from it and share it with anyone, including YouTube, which is what I'm doing with this presentation. That's all. See you next time. Thank you.